gazetenin böyle bir manşet attığını gördük.
We saw that America puts such a news headline in a newspaper. We see their double faces and double standards in the fight against terrorism. Turkey has PKK, YPG, PYD terrorist members living here, but unfortunately, they are living abroad as well. They continue to show their double standards and double faces. They want to say Turkey's tourism has been affected. Actually, they want to say that don't go to Turkey. I have just seen tourists continue to come here without fear. They couldn't reach their goal in that sense too. The media continually talks about human rights and law, but looking at this attack only on a tourism sense is weird. They can continue to say whatever they want and give support on guns and training. We will continue to fight terrorism.
Well, for more on this, Batuhan Takis joins us from Istanbul. He's the managing editor at the Daily Sabah. Welcome to the News Hour. Now, we just saw the Turkish foreign minister there criticising the New York Times article. Tell us more about this coverage and why it's been so controversial.
Well, this is not the first time we are seeing the New York Times actually making such a controversial coverage when it comes to the PKK terrorist group and its affiliation in the entire region from Syria to Iran. Well, for many years, the Times has been portraying the PKK as freedom fighters, while the group is responsible for thousands of deaths, drug trafficking, child soldiers, and so on, demographic, changes and ethnic cleansing, and we can count more. So the Times choose always supportive titles, wording, storytelling to glorify the group. So I'm not surprised, actually. I am a reader of the New York Times, of course. I'm a journalist. So the very biased editorial policy is not something new, as I said. So in the recent Istanbul attack that killed the 6 people at the heart of Istanbul, Istiklal Street, so the New York Times did the same. So choose a very controversial perspective. Normally, I try to empathize with my colleagues of the New York Times, actually, why they choose such a headline like linking the terrorist attack with the tourism revenues.
And why do you think that they did that?
Well, it is actually as part of their newsroom's editorial policy toward Turkey, as I said, and their policy for the PKK coverage. Well, I'm just trying to empathize with them. Actually, I was in the newsroom of the Daily Sabah at the time at the very moment. We also covered this story as well. So actually, well, something happens, in a breaking news at the heart of Istanbul. People lost their lives. So as a journalist, you rush to the newsroom and you cover it, you report it. But second, you have to wait, fact checking. You have to fact check the story because things can immediately change in the breaking news. We have all experienced it many times. So, but my colleagues did not that and put a very specific editorial policy in terms of reporting the basics of the terrorist attack. And they ignored the families of the victims. They linked the story with the tourism revenues. Can you imagine that? They didn't just report the story and they link it with the tourism revenues, which is unacceptable if we are speaking of media ethics and global newspapers and journalism rules. It is really unacceptable. But, well, the fact-checking process, it didn't work for them. So they actually fell victim to the editorial policy of their newsroom for the PKK and the Turkey, I can say that.
Batuhan, thank you very much indeed for explaining that perspective to us and for your time and analysis. Batuhan Takis is the managing editor at the Daily Sabah. Thank you.